This is Inside CCS. Hello, I am Tyler Carter, multimedia journalist for Columbus City Schools. In our first edition, we are having a conversation with Superintendent Dr. Talisa Dixon about the state of our school district during this global pandemic. Dr. Dixon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We are getting ready to start the new school year. We're starting it completely virtual. Talk to me a little bit about why we decided this decision.
Right, well, we decided to go completely virtual by recommendations of Columbus Public Health. We're watching the science. We are connected with them, ongoing with our Columbus Public Health, and allowing them to provide guidance for us. And we didn't want to make that decision independent of that. We see that the pandemic is spreading. And I do not want to put our staff and our students and the families in jeopardy or in harm's way of that. And so we followed closely their recommendation to move to total remote learning for the beginning of the school year.
How often are you and your cabinet and your team getting briefed by Columbus Public Health about the condition of this pandemic within our city?
Well, there's a community call every week with various leaders around the community. So I'm aware of that call. I can participate. We have board members that are participating. And then once we get new information, we're providing that information to our staff.
So I know we had mentioned that we will be going completely virtual for the first quarter. How long will that be?
That would be to October 27th. And then anytime prior, during the weeks prior to that, we will be updating the community and the parents, and hopefully that we will not, we'll be in a different space, and the county will not be in red, and we will be possibly yellow, hopefully green, and then we can think about bringing our students back to school in a hybrid model.
I know one of the big things is that we're looking at right now and how we are doing a lot of preparation, getting ready for the start of this new school year virtually. How are we prepping our teachers, our staff to get ready for this?
Well, one of the things that we're going to do differently this year is that we pushed back the opening of schools until September 8th, after Labor Day, so that we can have 10 days of professional development for all of our staff members, including our teachers and our classified members. And that means that they will have the opportunity to learn more about this virus and safety protocols and online learning. We have new curriculum that we are rolling out this fall, and we want all our teachers to make sure that they have full access and opportunity to learn about that new curriculum so that they can implement it with fidelity this fall. So 10 days, the entire organization learning.
I know one of the big questions around this virtual learning is what will our curriculum look like for our students?
Yeah. So in the springtime, when we abruptly the governor closed and shut down our schools, and we had to immediately move to an online platform, it was difficult for us because the organization was not ready for that. But since then, we've learned so much with wonderful teachers who it's really displayed opportunity to really lift our learning through that online platform. So they did amazing lessons. And then they also did this summer. Again, we did online learning this summer for summer school. And again, doing that platform, our teachers were doing some amazing lessons. So we're going to use what we've learned in the spring and the summer, along with quality professional development on how to use these online platforms to be able to implement these lessons in a very different and engaging way for our students. And that's important, the word engaging. We want to be able to have our students engage with this curriculum. Using technology. Our students are very well versed with technology. They use it all the time. And so this will give us an opportunity to engage deeper by using technology to make sure our students are learning and that we're keeping track of how well they are learning through these mediums.
I know, piggybacking off of engaging, one thing that's really important is looking at the social and emotional behaviors of our students and the support that we have around that. How do we plan to continue to keep our students engaged through a computer screen when we're also talking about their social and emotional learning skills?
Yeah, so first I want to recognize that we've not seen many of our students since March. So we know that our students miss us as we miss them, and we know that these past few months that our students may have faced some very traumatizing events. We understand that. So again, we're going to use technology to connect with our students. So for example, during the spring, we had our psychologists and social workers that would do, they would meet with their students using it's almost like telehealth, right? You have your appointments and you meet with your students and have those conversations using a computer, Zoom, or WebEx. So we will use those same tools this fall to connect with our students and invite partners. It's a wonderful opportunity to have our partners connect with students as well. So we're going to maximize every opportunity to make sure that students get what they need, even during these uncertain and unprecedented times.
As far as resources for our students and our families when it comes to social and emotional behavior, I did get a chance to speak with our curriculum team. Listen to what they had to say.
We are aware that students with complex needs and complex communication abilities have a different set of needs for education and accessibility, and the district is doing research around the equipment that might be necessary for those students in order to access their education from home in the remote setting. And some of that may include low-tech technology or resources, and some may be more high-tech, like access to a touchscreen device in order to facilitate accessibility. Services for all students on the IEP will be provided in the remote setting, and that could be something like a meeting with the speech pathologist for speech therapy, either individually or in small group, but then also could be something like exercises to practice, and then the therapist may follow up with a family or a student at another scheduled time. So the parameters of IEPs and 504s will be followed to the best of our ability within that remote setting.
When we do decide to go back to in-person learning, for those students that decided to go ahead and enroll in the Digital Academy, what are their options? Will they have to go back into the classroom, or can they continue doing virtual learning?
Yes, those students that decided to go to Digital Academy can stay for the first semester, that's January, and if they decide that they want to come back in a blended model, so for example, if we're able to go back in a blended model after October 27th, and then those students can wait in January and say, yes, I want to join my friends and see my teachers and be back in that blended model in January. We don't want to interrupt that prior to that time. If not, they can remain until the end of the school year and join us in the fall of 2021.
I know online, if we're looking at our district's social media sites, we're getting a lot of questions from parents asking, what are we doing with our community partners? A lot of our parents, the reality is they have to work full time, and they're still working during this pandemic. Are we working with our community partners to maybe come up with some type of solution that can help our parents a little bit?
Yes, so first I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of our community partners. That is the one thing that has been so inspiring. The Columbus community has stepped up and wrapped themselves around the school district and our families. And that's what we're about. It's been purposeful and Columbus strong, and saying that our families and students are important and we want to support them. So yes, there will also be opportunities for them to help even further. They have stepped up and said, what do the families need? How can we provide hotspots? I mean, that was something that we were able to secure this spring from a community partner who provided 1,600 hotspots for us. And we also had people who purchased additional food. Even though our food service team stayed on track, we provided lunch and breakfast for our students. We also had organizations who provided additional resources for our families. So yes, we want our partners to reach out to us. We have an engagement strategy. We have an entire engagement team. The information is on the website. So please reach out, go to the website and see where we need you in this organization. That information is all online.
I know one of our big community partners is the City of Columbus.
Yes.
They are gracious enough to give us $7 million from their CARES Act for Chromebooks, 20,000 Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Will students, no matter the family size of how many students are in that family, in addition to those and the ones that we already have here, receive a Chromebook?
Yes, we know that technology has to be used for our lever. That's the only way our students would be engaged in our curriculum this fall. And we knew we had a deficit. We did not have enough Chromebooks for our students. And thank you to the City of Columbus that they stepped up and said, how many do you need? And we wanted to provide those for our students. So please, families, send a note to the City of Columbus to say thank you. All of our students will have access. They will families contact their building principals. The building principals will let them know how to pick them up, pick up the Chromebook, etc. And there also will be information on our website. So every student will have access to a Chromebook to use for this school year. And long term, the school district, we will be a one-to-one district. We want to make sure that students will have their own Chromebook to use throughout their K-12 experience. This year, we're going to still loan some computers out to students, as well as give students some of the ones that the cities have purchased. But nevertheless, students will have access to a Chromebook this school year.
And I know that helped a lot when we were looking at how we were actually spending throughout this whole pandemic. Last night, the Board of Education went ahead and approved $25 million of coronavirus aid relief. Where is some of that money going to?
Well, first, it's not enough. So I want to be able to state that, these are unprecedented times. We have expenses that we were not prepared to purchase, just like the PPE, mask, sanitizing equipment, plexiglass, all of those things that districts, we normally don't purchase those items. So we have to be able to have enough items to support 109 school buildings, plus our additional administrative offices. So those are a lot of funds that we would normally have used those funds for our students and our resources. So the majority of those funds are going to be used for the PPE and to pay for the extra curricular items that we have to use to support our digital academy.
Dr. Dixon, where do you see the state of our school district right now in this pandemic, where we are now and where we hope to go in the future?
Well, right now we understand that there are some gaps. We haven't seen many of our students since March. We had a lot of students engaged over summer school, but we know that research has stated that the best opportunity to learn is in person. And we want our students back. We want to be able to engage in them in that way. But we also understand that we don't know if we're ever going to see that in-person learning like we knew before again. So how do we, in the meantime, make sure that our students are on track? And then that way we have to use our technology and our resources, and we have to build in time for tutoring and one-on-one opportunities to meet with our students and our families to give them some additional resources. So what is the state of our schools right now? The state of our schools is that our families and our students need extra care. At one point, I would be able to say that, I want our students learning from sun up to sundown. But I can't say that anymore because our families need something else. Our families need more, and we have to wrap ourselves around our families and our students to say to them, we're going to be okay, you're going to be safe, we're here for you, and we also want to make sure that you are learning. So we will do whatever we can to make sure our students are on track, and we look forward to seeing them in person one day. But in the meantime, we will give them the resources that they need in the safest way possible.
Any final words?
No, just thank you. I would look forward to having these conversations with you and informing our community, informing our staff on where we are. Please stay safe. Wash your hands. Remember social distancing, and don't forget to wear
your mask.
Mask.
Exactly. Wear
Yes.
your mask.
Wear your mask.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
you.
much for
Thank
joining us
you.
today. For more information on our reopening plan, just make sure to visit our website, www.ccsoh.us, and click on that reopen link. Stay safe.